Over the years, I've developed a pot burner for waste oil, vegetable oil, waste oil, transmission fluid, lube oil, just about anything that you can drip feed into a pot. This thing will burn, and I want to share how I build it and operation and everything. So I just want to go through a basic drawing of how this thing goes together. I take a steel tubing, about 5.5 inches piece of steel tubing, and cut a circle out and cap the bottom. So I've got a pot basically. Right. Then I take another piece of a cylinder, a piece of steel, the band, right, and do the same thing to it, but about 6.5 inches in diameter, so that the inner pot fits inside the outer pot. Then weld a flange all the way around the inner pot so that it can suspend it there, and it creates a semi-airtight seal at that point. Okay, so I've got this void around this inner pot. Now I'm going to drill some holes on the inner pot all the way around the circumference of it, and through this piece of square tubing, if you will. That fits inside of another piece of square tubing. We blow air. Air comes in to this surrounding void and goes into the holes in the inner pot. Put oil in here, light it on fire, blow air, burner works real well. Puts out a lot of heat. The other side of this is nothing more than another cylinder, which is open on the bottom for air to come in, and an old GM style, early model GM style blower motor that you can get for next to nothing, 20 bucks, 25 bucks. I've seen replacements. Any squirrel cage, I like to use 12 volts DC, but I use these GM blowers because they're cheap and they last forever at low RPM. So it blows air in through this chamber into the inner pot, and you drip oil in like that. This is a piece of stainless steel. You can use brake line. I like to use 1/4 inch OD hydraulic line, stainless, that lasts a long time. So you either drip or pump feed oil into the inner pot, set it on fire, blow air, works fine. So an assembly type drawing would look like there's the lip, here's the outer flange of the inner pot, and then there's the outer pot. Square tubing, and of course the blower then would be in this can. You screw it fast, air in to the outer pot, and then here's where the coupling happens, where it's a slide together. You have to be able to remove the inner pot. This can be stationary if you want to, like say if this was the stove wall. Here, everything here is hot, everything on this side is outside the stove, it's cold. So, blowing air in basically keeps this oil line cool all the way until it hits that inner pot, and that's the only time that the end gets really, really hot. It'll glow. It'll glow. So you can basically weld this stationary if you want to the inside wall, or the coupling, if you will, and then make this removable. You have to be able to take this out to replace, to pull the oil line out, to pull the inner pot out. You got to clean it. You know, it's going to get crud So that's why this is nice, because it's removable. You open the door up, take the inner pod out, chunk it out, dump it, put it back in, start dripping oil, turn the fan on, you're back in business again. Okay, well, thanks for sticking that out and watching. The next video we'll get to building a system, putting it together, talk about how to light it, how to use it. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.